Hi, all my friends in TV land. The reason I say hi, some see it in the morning, some see it in the afternoon, and some see it in the evening. So whenever you see it, it's okay with me. Now what I want you to do is quickly go and get your coffee, your iced tea, or whatever. Get yourself a paper and pencil because we have important information. Now I want to talk to you a little bit about the guest I have with me today. She's one of my favorite people. And I'm going to tell you why she's one of my favorite people. Because she is the kind of person that I know, I've gotten to know her, she's been on the show several times, that she doesn't brag about herself. But what she's done singularly on her own is she has brought Lake County's voting system into the 21st century. And let me tell you, that's a feat on its own because it's so complicated, and anytime there's changes are made, there's a lot of fur flying and there's a lot of hard dirt you have to go through. And because I'm a pioneer, I know this. It takes one like to know one. And you know what it takes in this kind of person? It takes a total dedication, and it takes a passion that they want to give unto the community and bring them in to their highest level. So I can say this out of all sincerity of my heart. This is a woman who is after her passion to be produced and to bring you the best. So I want you to pay attention to what she's saying because she's going to give you accurate information. She is our Lake County Clerk, and she's going to tell you what that entails, and her name is Willard Helander. Willard, God bless you. It's good to have you back on the show.
Thank you so much, and thank you for that lovely introduction. And I have to say, we have a marvelous team in the office, too. It's not just one person, it's a whole lot of great folks.
I feel the same way, that I couldn't go on with this show if I wouldn't have all these jewels around me. They're the jewels in the crown that has been given, because they're the ones that are putting on the show. And, we're not young. Out of a crew of 12 people, and I'm number 13, 7 of us are over 80 years old, one for our side.
Our role models.
Right. Now we have so many new viewers that what I'd like you, I know you've done it before, but I'd like to take you back and give, so people, because like our intern said, we see your name on the ballot, but give us a little bio about yourself. I know people would enjoy hearing it.
Okay. I'm actually a little small town girl at heart. I was raised in Brownsville, Tennessee, one of 4 children. And most people think that my dad wanted a boy, but actually I have an older brother, and my mother named me for her mother, who was Willard.
Oh.
And I went to the University of Mississippi and studied to be a speech therapist, and then I went to law school at the University of Tennessee and moved to Illinois in 1978, and have lived here longer than I ever lived in Tennessee. I'm the mom of 3 children. I have a son who's 32 with 2 little children in Texas, and I have a daughter, Emily, in Chicago, and I have a daughter, Elizabeth, and she and her husband have a little girl in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. And I'm most pleased to say I met the world's most patient man a few years back, and I married Glenn Jarvie. And so I'm a newlywed.
What I want you to do is not a small one great big smack right into the camera. That one's for
Glenn.
You, Glenn. And I did one too.
He puts up with a lot with my busy job.
Well, that's nice that you could meet somebody and have, a life's partner, because in this day of stress, it's always nice to be able to count on somebody. I know people, like to know like who you are and where you came from, but they also, if you could tell us what your title means. So give us
Sure.
the proper title.
It's Lake County Clerk, and it's actually a job I think a lot of people do associate with voting or with maybe getting a birth record or a marriage license, but we do a whole lot more. The county clerk is the clerk of the 23-member county board, which will soon be 21. They've made their districts larger and fewer members. I'm also the person who handles the real estate tax extension. So if you own real estate, whether it's commercial or residential, all of the assessment of values that comes through your township assessor comes to the county clerk's office. And then the districts that serve your home, whether it be a school district, a library, a village, the county, they give us their budgets, and we have to calculate their levy from their budget against the value and create the real estate tax bill. And then the state can assign a multiplier, which unfortunately they did last year. It wasn't 1, so it made it go up a little bit. And then in addition, the county clerk is responsible for all voter registration, training election judges, which we're doing today, securing your polling places, sending you information about your options to vote by mail early or on election day. And also we have a lot of miscellaneous things like ethics filings. If you are handling taxpayer monies, then you have to file a governmental ethics form that's called the Statement of Economic Interest. So it's a busy place.
And so, well, how do you handle all these different entities that are under your control? You have to really delegate a lot of authority.
I put most of my energies on a daily basis into the election side. I do a lot of the training myself and take a lot of phone calls and answer emails, but I do have a very strong leader on the team for the tax extension, and Vital Records Department runs very smoothly, where you get your birth, marriage, and death records and economic interest filings. And then I'm working much more closely with voter registration and elections. And we have a elections administrator, Cindy Pagano, who also is a mighty organizer. She does a great job.
So I'm sure that since you've had the job, how long have you had this position now?
I was elected the first time in 1994, so I took office in December of 94. I was younger, I was thinner, and I was more trusting.
But I know in the process of it, you probably learned quite a few things.
I have. I've learned you can't believe everything people tell you.
I know. You can't believe a large percentage of what people, because everybody has a different position on things.
And some people have an agenda. They don't mean what they say.
Right. It's really hard to search for the truth.
But I have to say, Vita, the neatest thing about this job is it's all about people. And I get to meet so many people from all over the county, and that's who we're really working for. And it's just like you. You enjoy people, you're a people person, and that's what makes the job really fulfilling and exciting. That we touch your life, whether you're picking up the record for your new baby, you're getting your marriage license, a death record, your tax bill, your voter registration card, all of it's all about the people.
Well, and I think it's the gratification you get back, because, we're all volunteers here. Nobody makes a dime on doing this show. But the gratification that we get back is that we are part of the change, and we could actually, feel the change and discern the change that's happening.
You're empowering people.
Empowering people. We call ourselves consciousness raisers. Now, maybe you could give us some of the dates. You have some information.
Yes. Voter registration closes on October the 9th, and that's so important, because if you're new to Lake County or you've moved to a new address, you need to get that straightened out so that we have you in the book of voters for Election Day. And to get registered, you can go to your local library, your village hall, your town hall, or you can call the county clerk's office, and we've got that number to put up on the screen. It's 847-377-2406, 2406.
Do it one more time.
847-377-2406. And we can help you to make sure you're registered. And then we have already started voting by mail. So if you're going to be out of town, or any person can vote by mail now. You just can choose to do
Say if
it.
the senior person is is incapacitated or can't get out.
Or
Now,
if you
how
just
do they
have a
go-
busy life.
Well, how can they go about that?
You can either call our office, you can go on our website. We recommend that if you
Why
use the
don't you
computer.
give out the website?
It's lakecountyclerk.info. And when you get on the website,
Okay, give it one more time. It's a little
Lake,
slower.
Lake, L-A-K-E, County, C-O-U-N-T-Y, Clerk, C-L-E-R-K,
Okay.
at,
At
no, I'm sorry, dot info, dot info,
info.
lakecountyclerk.info.
Okay.
And when you get there, there's a button called Voter Power.
Uh-huh.
If you click on that, it'll ask you to fill in information like your name, your house number, your zip code, and your date of birth. It will test you to make sure you're registered in our database, which is good. We don't want anyone to think they're registered and not be. So once you determine you're registered, all you have to do, you land on a page and click on a green button that says, I want to vote by mail. And it populates your form with your name and address on it.
Did you hear that? Go through that one more time, because I think in our category for our audience that we're reaching, a lot of them might choose to do that
Yes.
if they're incapacitated for one reason or the other.
It's lakecountyclerk.info.
Okay.
When you get there, click on Voter Power. That's a button on the left-hand side. It will ask you, it'll show a little box, it'll be listed of what to put your first name, last name, your house number, like
Okay.
123, your zip code, and your date of birth. Once you do that, you hit submit, and it's going to show you the Voter Power page where you click on the first button to vote by mail.
Okay, I have one more question. Say a lot of seniors don't have computers.
You can call us.
Okay, give that number one more time.
And you can call our voter reg number, will help you. It's 847-377-2406. And they'll take down the information. The value of the website is our senator from Lake County has required by a law he introduced that we can't mail you a ballot till we get a signed application. If you use our website, you can download that application and sign it and mail it in. Cuts out one step. But if you want us to mail it to you, that's fine too. If you call us, we'll mail you the application, and as soon as we get it back signed, we'll mail you the ballot.
Oh, good. Well, now what it's come time for is Vita's Pearls of Wisdom. And what I'd like to talk to you all about today is the day that we're filming this show is October 1st, Monday, October 1st, 2012. Now, this happens to be the first day on the Jewish calendar of the Feast of Tabernacles. You know, there are several feast days in the year. In the spring we have Passover, and in the fall we have Yom Kippur. And now this is one of the last holidays, and what it is the Feast of Harvest Time. Now, the Feast of Harvest Time, this is what, as Americans, we derive our Thanksgiving out of, and that is out of the Jewish calendar, the Feast of Tabernacles. And it is a very joyous occasion. Now, the producer of the show, Gloria Shapiro, and myself, we spend one Feast of Tabernacle holiday in Israel, and it was wonderful. They had a huge, it's a festival time, and in this park, in this huge park, they had the different rabbis, it's the rabbis of the tribe, and they wear elaborate gowns, elaborate long garments, and on the breastplate of the garments is 12 different stones of different color representing the 12 tribes out of the Bible. And what they do is there is so much joy, you know, and the Bible says the joy of the Lord is our strength. And they do, well, I love that klezmer music anyway, and they join in groups and they dance around the stage. And what it is such a joyous, uplifting event that the whole, who's ever participating in it, everybody starts dancing. And I know I was stunned. This was the first time I ever saw that. I just was there like this, and some man grabbed me and he said, "Don't stand like that." And he just got me into it. He started dancing with me, and it was one of the most fun times of my life. There was such a joyful thing to be in the Holy Land at this time. So I thought, since it started on this day, you know, we consider ourselves to be consciousness raisers. So I'd like to raise your consciousness of what our Thanksgiving comes out of. And, you know, this is the voting season. So in your voting time, I'm not recommending one party or the other. What I'm telling you is you go by your standard and don't look what color suit, what color tie, what color skin. That doesn't matter. What matters is your value systems. You connect with your value system. And what I try to bring you into as a teacher, you know, I'm going to let you in for a surprise. I'm not perfect, you know. And even though I do say I'm going to live forever, because I believe that, and I'd say that all the time, what I try to bring you is some truth and to uphold you that you have a privilege in this country of voting for somebody and getting to your highest level. And we've tried to bring this information to you. Now let's get back to Willard and talk about some more things about this voting season. First of all, let's tell everybody. We think everybody knows, but we're not sure. When is voting day?
Well, the last day to vote is November the 6th, which is a Tuesday. That's what the traditional election day is. But of course, now any voter can choose to vote by mail early before election day or vote early in person. And that starts on October 22nd. That's 2 weeks before the election. And the voters can go to we've sent out letters to all people in the county so they know where their early voting site is. And that's a really nice option for seniors because you can pick a sunny day. You don't know if election day will be cold or windy or rainy.
Right.
So you can go to early voting. We're open at these local sites from 9 to 4:30, Monday through Friday, and on Saturday from 9 to 2. And that's for 2 weeks. It'll end on Saturday, November the 3rd. And then if you don't vote by that time, you'll need to come on election day, November the 6th.
Oh, so the last day for early voting would be the Saturday, and then Sunday, of course, there's none, and Monday, and so then it would go to the 6th. Okay, well, I think that's pretty clear. A subject that I'd like to go into because from the statistics, from what I've done on my research, I see that voting registration and voting is down so much across the country, and I know that you're very much in touch with it. Maybe you could give us some information on this subject.
The city of Chicago has done a lot of publicity that their voter registration numbers are down about 250,000. But we do know from the census a lot of people moved out of Chicago. That's why they don't have as many congressional districts. They've kind of moved some of their congressional districts out toward us. We have a lot of fingers that come out of the city into the suburbs trying to keep their districts even though they're not all city districts. So their numbers are down. But we've also seen in Lake County, we do have some residents who've moved due to losing their homes. We have a lot of empty homes. But Lake County's voter registration, usually in a presidential, you see far more effort to go find every human being and get them registered by advocacy groups. We've not seen as much of that this year. And one of the...
You're not seeing much of the
advocacy groups coming in and getting people registered. Yeah, it's slower.
That's volunteers, right?
A lot of them are paid. But this summer, our office did go to every farmer's market. We went to a lot of fairs. And then, of course, we've worked with a lot of groups like the League of Women Voters, the Democratic and Republican parties, the unions. A lot of people are conducting registration. But I think one of the national sentiments is that the young people are not as enthusiastic as they were 4 years ago. They can't find jobs, they're discouraged. And of course, as you and I have spoken, we feel that's the very time you should be involved because if you've got a problem, be part of the solution. Everybody has a responsibility in this country to take advantage of their privilege of voting. And it may be hard to figure out what you think of the candidates, but we should do it. That's what makes our country work.
Well, I really believe that each one of us should, number one, establish our own value system, and then look for someone that you're not going to find any perfect match, because everybody has their individualistic tastes. But when it comes right down to main concerns, what you're mainly concerned about, I think that's how we have to look for things. But I wanted to bring something else up that just came to me, and that's if somebody doesn't have a computer, if you go to any library, every library is equipped with a whole battery of computers. And I have found, I just have been taking computer lessons, but I'm not all that swift, but I can operate pretty good. But I have found that the library workers are very helpful in assisting people.
They're very patient, they're very knowledgeable.
They're very knowledgeable, and if you wanted to get something across, like your registration or your voting online, that they will come and sit down right next to you, and you'll be doing it, but they'll tell you exactly how to do it. I just wanted to inject that. All right, getting back to
and I have to say, we just did a program at the Vernon Area Library on voting and registration and everything, and I noticed a lot of staff came in and they wanted to make sure they knew how to help look up information for voters who just wanted to know what was on our website. So they're ready and willing, and we did training at Mundeleins Library, and I saw all of the terminals were in use at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's very popular. They had a large number of terminals available, and people were on them.
Oh, that's a good thing. I encourage that all the time, because, even if you're at a certain age level, listen, I'm 80. If I can do it, you can do it. And the secret is keep these little gray cells going. You keep those little gray cells going, and that's what keeps you the vitality in your life. And you have to maintain a tenaciousness about it. You know what tenaciousness is? That's a $25 word for spunk. You have to have that spunk or razzmatazz, and you keep that going. It keeps your energy level, and your creativity is ageless. That doesn't burn out because you're a certain age, and you can keep that going. But I know as seniors, as a grouping, as a block, they're high voting content.
Number one on the list of voters.
Are they the number one?
Seniors are our most solid voters.
Because they're paying attention.
And we hope they'll teach their children and their grandchildren by example.
What from an article that I was reading, what it said is 4 years ago, a high turnout was in the first-time voters. And this is dropped drastically.
It has.
And
but hopefully we'll change that, because I think a lot of people are drawing attention to it, like you are today, that people who have not gotten involved will realize if they've moved, they should get registered by the 9th of October if you live in Illinois, and then you should participate. And it's so important. I go into schools and talk to the young people about the fact it's not easy being a voter. Like you said, you don't vote just for somebody because they kind of look like a movie star, and you shouldn't vote for a person because maybe they have a pretty smile or a name.
Or they like cats.
Yeah, or they like kitty cats. Like I said, a lady told me one time she voted for me because I like cats. But it's not even that we have perhaps the same ethnic background. It's like you said, look at the issues. Look at what's important, and we'll never find a candidate that agrees 100% with us, but we need to pick the key things, and it's like a scattergram. Who falls closer to the number of things I align with as a voter?
We don't have a flawless system because, none of us are perfect. But what we have is a democratic system of checks and balances. So what is a responsibility, it is our human responsibility is to check, well, what am I seeking? That's where you start, okay? And then you find out where you meet. And you're not going to meet on every point, because that's an impossibility. But on the things that remain important, that's where you meet, and that's a choice that you have to make, and that's an important choice.
And you know, right while we're all talking about the big presidential election, it's also the time frame where people who are running for your local government are circulating petitions, because they have to file in December. And we're going to have so many opportunities for people to get engaged in their local government right now. They may want to run for village board or school board or library board, township office. And so people that think things aren't quite right, they should consider getting involved, running for office.
And do what they think is right.
Yeah.
And that's how change comes about. And you never know until what it takes is one step.
And a lot of countries don't have that option. Offices are passed from father to son. We saw in some of the emerging democracies in the Middle East where people had rockets shot at them and they died going to vote. So we're very fortunate in our country. Some people may want to complain that they couldn't find a parking place right by the door, but we have no real obstacles to voting in this country. Voting is accessible. We have ADA equipment. If you have low vision, you can put your ballot in a piece of equipment and have it larger, reversed out with white letters on black background. You can wear a headset and have your ballot read to you if you're blind. If your hand has a tremor, you can just touch the screen, or you can use an arrow keypad. We have so many options in the U.S. to make voting.
We can also have someone help assist you.
Yes, you can have a person of your choosing, as long as it's not your employer or your union member, assist you, a family member, a friend, or 2 election judges. And every voter has access to voting. And you have options to vote early, by mail, on election day.
Well, what I wanted to ask you personally is the length of time you've been on the job and where you are now. What is the most important thing? What kind of gratification are you getting back from being in this kind of job that you continue on, and even though you're married, you didn't drop your career?
I think the number one thing is it's all about people. I'm a people person. I really enjoy the fact that each day I'm trying to help people understand that their government works for them. They don't work for us, we work for them. And I want them to know that we're here to serve. We're here to hear their concerns and try our best to respond to those. At the same time, we try to save money.
Well, then I think that you could pitch a little now, because I know you're always looking to train new judges. It's probably too late in the season now, but if anybody has any interest, they can contact your office. Maybe you'll give the website and the numbers out again.
Yes, you can go to lakecountyclerk.info and click on an election judge tab, or you can call us at 847-377-2406 and indicate your interest. We are training a few more election judges. I think we have 3 classes left. We're doing well, but we're creating a wait list because things change. We may have people who are scheduled to work who will get sick or will have to travel out of town. So we do like to have backups. We can't guarantee you'll get scheduled if you go to training this late, but you could also express interest for next year. A lot of people don't necessarily work in the years that aren't presidential.
Well, you know, we've come to that time, and judges get paid for that too.
Yes.
If you work as a judge. And when you out there, you're the one I'm talking to, come to the end of your rope, you tie a knot and you hang on. You know why? Because the best is yet to come. What we want you to do this week is, God bless you, catch the spirit.